Hey guys, Adrienne here from About Murals. So today I'm going to teach you how to hang wallpaper in a bathroom. Let's get to it.
But first, what's the best wallpaper for bathrooms? Let me explain the pros and cons of two popular types. Even if you have your wallpaper already, watch the section so you don't make big mistakes when hanging. The most popular type that I personally hate, with a passion, is peel and stick. The pro is that it's usually made out of vinyl and many are water resistant or waterproof. So if the wallpaper is going to be in direct contact with water, this is probably your best bet. Just make sure you get a really high quality paper so it's easy to work with. There are two cons though with peel and stick. The first is that it can trap moisture between the vinyl and the wall, creating mold and mildew problems. The second con is that it is hellacious to install. Getting it behind and around toilets, sinks, pipes, windows, and doors is almost impossible, even for someone who hangs wallpaper for a living. Installers, would you back me up on this? Am I right? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, another type of wallpaper for bathrooms is non-woven wallpaper, like what we sell on our website. The drawback is that it's not waterproof, so it can't come into direct contact with water. Instead, it absorbs and then releases moisture, making it mold and mildew proof. You can use it in any high humidity room. Plus, it's still removable and won't damage your walls later. Ours is pre-pasted, meaning the glue is already on the back of the wallpaper. The paper I'm installing today is from another manufacturer and is a paste the wall product. Both use paste, and the best part is that they easily slide around on the wall, allowing you to match the seams perfectly while hanging around toilets, sinks, pipes, windows, doors, anything complicated in a bathroom. Here are the tools I used for this installation. You can buy them from Amazon by clicking the link below. The first step is to fill in any little holes or cracks, sand down all the little bumps that are on the wall, and then wipe everything down with a damp cloth. Now you need to decide where to start when wallpapering your room. It's usually next to a door. When you wallpaper around an entire room, the pattern is never going to match when you get around to the end. So you want to choose the most inconspicuous area. Not only will the corner hide some of the pattern mismatch, but there's only about a foot when the meeting point takes place, and it's up high, so you're just not going to see it. Next, take a roll of your wallpaper and go around the room to see where the seams will land. You want to make it easy on yourself and not have a seam land in a really hard to reach spot or somewhere where you need to trim a really narrow piece, which is hard to manage. You can easily pre-cut your first panel before installing to shift the layout for the entire room. Once you know the width your first panel needs to be, pre-cut it and make a mark for the same width on your wall with a pencil. Use a level to draw a vertical line. This is what you'll line your first panel up to. Since I have a 1-inch gap between the door and the first wall, I add that on to my width. Then add paste to the wall, just enough for your first panel, using a roller and brush at the edges. I roll each wallpaper panel up with the back facing outwards so I can easily roll it down the wall without getting paste onto the front of the paper. Smooth out any air bubbles using your smoother. I push the paper into the gap using my smoother. This fills the space between the door, and it also leaves a little flap at the top for me to cover over with the last piece later for a seamless look. Trim off the excess at the top and bottom using a very sharp X-Acto knife and your straight edge. Add enough paste for the width of your next panel and roll it down onto the wall. This wallpaper is a butt joint, meaning the panels sit side by side, like they're kissing. Some wallpaper overlaps at the seams, so make sure to read your instructions thoroughly. You always want to leave a 1 to 2 inch overlap of paper on the ceiling and the baseboard in case you have unlevel walls. Smooth out the air bubbles and trim off the excess. When you get to a corner, many DIYers think you just press and fold it onto the next wall, but this is a huge mistake for two reasons. One, the corner isn't level, so wallpaper won't be level on the next wall either. You'll start to see your pattern go crooked as you install more panels on that wall. Second, as the paste dries, the wallpaper will pull away from the corner even just a little bit, allowing furniture or fingers to poke a hole in the paper. Instead, measure the top, middle, and bottom of the wall space and make note of the widest part. Add 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch to that width and pre-cut your panel keeping the trimmed off part for the second wall. Add paste and hang the first trim piece, smoothing it out and pushing it into the corner with your smoother. It should overlap onto the next wall a little. Then add your second trim piece onto the next wall, overlapping the little flap and matching the pattern as best as you can. Make sure the second piece is level so the rest of your wallpaper installation goes smoothly and doesn't look crooked. You can draw another level line if the panel is wide, or just use your level like I do here. Now let's tackle the window, which is the same process as a door. Roll on your paste, roll down your wallpaper panel and match the pattern at the seam. Smooth out the bubbles and press the wallpaper panel against the window or door trim. Find the corner of the trim and make a diagonal cut with a sharp X-Acto knife. You want to cut towards the middle of the window, not over the wallpaper going onto the wall. This is called a relief cut and allows you to fold the wallpaper around the trim onto the wall. Do this at the top and bottom. Now you can trim off the excess around the window using your utility knife and straight edge. Then I add the little pieces above the window and below the window, matching the pattern at the seams, smoothing out air bubbles, and trimming off the excess. Draw another level line so your wallpaper doesn't get hung crooked. This is a space where the toilet would be, but because it was completely flush to the wall, it had to be taken out for the install. If you want a tutorial on how to hang wallpaper behind a toilet, let me know in the comments below. You only need about an inch to be able to get the wallpaper behind. Remember to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when it goes up. I do have another video on how to hang around water pipes though, which I'll link to at the end of this video. Now, how to wallpaper around a sink. Roll your wallpaper down on the wall until you get to the backsplash. I use clothespins to keep the paper rolled up while I make my cuts. Using your smoother, press the wallpaper onto the wall and firmly up against the lip of the backsplash. Then make a diagonal cut in towards the sink like you did around the window. This relief cut allows you to wrap the wallpaper down onto the wall. Smooth the wallpaper flat onto the wall and up against the vanity. You'll need to make another diagonal cut up towards the top of the vanity this time so you can wrap the wallpaper under the countertop edge. Trim off the excess against the vanity, under and around the countertop edges, on the top of the backsplash where I use my thicker smoothing tool as a straight edge, so I have a little excess to tuck under the gap in the backsplash, and then at the bottom of the baseboard. Remember to wipe away any excess paste off with a damp rag. Add your next panel and trim around the backsplash. My clients will be adding trim to their door later, so I wallpaper right up against the unfinished edge. Visit my channel to learn how to cut around sockets. I add the second last piece over the door, trim off the edges at the ceiling and over top of the door, and then the very last piece up in the corner that has the pattern mismatch. This pattern is very forgiving, so you can hardly see the mismatch. How much do you love this wallpaper? I am completely obsessed. Here's another video I thought would be helpful. Remember to subscribe and click the bell icon so you see all my bathroom wallpaper installation tutorials. Thanks for watching.